What if I told you the difference between a $10 million company and an $80 million company isn't just marketing or product? It's how you build, train, and hold accountable your sales team. Stephen Beegan knows this firsthand. He helped grow Renewal by Andersen in Virginia from $10 million to $55 million during his tenure. And today, those same systems are driving $80 million plus. His secret, a relentless focus on the sales process, from one-call closes to recruiting the right profiles to training, incentives, and accountability. The stuff most owners ignore, and it costs them millions. In this episode, Stephen breaks down the exact playbook: how to recruit top talent, structure 6-week training programs, create comp plans that actually motivate, and avoid the toxic hires that poison entire teams. If you own a home services business or any sales-driven company, you can't afford to miss this one.
Most things in life, but especially home improvement sales, is we're in a people business. Some of us might do windows and some of us might do roofing. The worst salespeople are the ones that are like, let me tell you about everything about this product. I promise you they don't care. They just want to be treated well. During our first conversation, we talked a lot about, first thing is do no harm. If you hire incorrectly on the sales side, they will poison every one of your salespeople. And I can think back about somebody and how one person in my head is poisoned so many other really good salespeople. From a professional standpoint, I hit home services as my industry. So I started from salesperson to sales manager, and then to the point where it was like VP of sales, and now doing more consulting now than anything. So I know what the day-to-day salesperson, looks like. The in the weeds sales manager, and then the VP of sales, which is more creating leaders and fine-tuning system.
Okay. Which market?
Yep. So I'm in Central Virginia,
Central.
and my last position was with Renewal by Andersen, and so
Okay.
over a course of 7 years, I came in right about $10 million company, and then when I physically left the building, they were right around 50 to 55 million. And then the leadership that I left in place, they should be about 80 million at the end of this.
Nice. That's awesome. And so what does Renewal do?
So Renewal by Andersen, that is the windows and doors predominantly, but that's the replacement division of Andersen Corporation. Everyone knows Andersen from Home Depot. And so, we're the division that we're going to go to people's homes with the in-home version of it. So all residential in-home, and that arm of things. So,
Got it. So they're known for spending a lot of money on marketing, all the channels and so forth. So you were not involved in the marketing side, but you were involved in the sales and conversion side.
yeah, predominantly. I mean,
Okay.
as there's a very close relationship between sales and marketing, and then
Yeah.
sales and the operation side of things.
Okay.
But day to day, more sales oriented. But I know a little bit about a lot, but I know a lot about sales.
Okay. So how is the sales department or the sales division organized?
Yeah, so sales, we have closers, right? I'm come from an industry where we are one call close, and if I working with a couple of companies right now that they are in home sales, and they're not the one call close, and
What
so
is
I'm
that? What does that mean? One call close.
yeah, good. Thank you for slowing me down on that. The industry, when we go and sit down with homeowners, we expect a decision on the first day. So I'm coming in and I'm prepared to the point where I give them enough information, I show them enough samples, I give them everything they need to make a decision while I'm there. And some people confuse that with high pressure. It's
Oh,
very, very different things. But if there's, plenty of companies out there that they give their salespeople time to follow up with customers and all these things, and they mean well because they're trying to be respectful, but it's making it very confusing for the homeowner to make a decision like that
makes sense.
when they're left to their own devices.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. And high pressure does not have good conversion. So if you're trying to execute on the sale, pushy sales tactics, they work but to a limit, and they're not the best long term. So essentially, the whole sales organization is structured and set up for that one call sale.
That's right. Yeah. And so
Okay.
from start to finish, I mean, one, you need the culture that these are the expectations that we have. But we also have to be, kind and courteous to the customer that we're in front of. Are we giving them enough information for them to
Yeah.
even make a decision?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how many times that's not the case. So
So let's go back. So this is a funnel that's essentially built for that one call. So it's a one meeting, one closing. The average ticket is what, like 20,000, 10,000,
yeah, I would say we were closer to 20,000 than 10.
20,000. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
a big ticket item that
Yeah.
you need to get the client, the consumer, to make a decision on right there on the spot. And so let's talk about that process. What does that process look like? The lead comes in, through an email inquiry, or someone make a phone call on a postcard or something. Then what happens?
Yeah, so they're coming in, renewal, and your home service company should be a marketing company. Let's understand what the business is.
Yeah.
So whatever source that you're getting, whether a traditional or non-traditional source, they're coming in. We need someone to pick up the phone, talk to them, set the appointment, confirm the appointment, because we don't want to waste our salespeople's times. And then with the salesperson, I'm telling them where to be, when to be there, with who they're talking to, and what they want to talk about.
So that's not the person who's picking up the phone to call the owner when the lead comes in. That's a separate person. That's like an SDR. That's not
Yes.
the actual service person that's going to do the appointment. So it's I'm assuming a call center is that sits in your company or sits somewhere else, like a third party.
Yeah, you can do both. It depends on what you have capacity for. The capacity of the CEO or the owner. If you have the ability to actually control that process. But
But
whether
at
you're
but at your renewal, when you were at renewal, did you have those people in house, in your office, or you had them, at the headquarters with the brand, or you had them at third party
Yeah, so we had it at a call center with the corporation,
corporate?
with corporate call center. But there are plenty of people that were our size that were not doing that. They did it in-house because they had the capacity and the knowledge on how to do that.
Got it.
But either way, across the board, that person setting the lead is very different from the person running the lead. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. What's the difference? So let's talk about that person first. What does that profile look like? What would you be looking for if you're hiring for that role? What would you be looking for?
On the sales side,
The SDR
yeah.
side, the person that picks up the call.
Yeah, and so that's a person, if you're running a disc, you want high detail type of person who likes security, who doesn't want to be working on commission or working on any sort of creative compensation plan, but somebody who's detail oriented, they're really good at managing a lot of different things, and they like the security of their position, right? And there is not too much that I go into with that because they're going to be managed, and it's not like they're going to be to their own devices. They should have a manager. Um, but someone who's bringing that experience, we can train them to our specific business.
Okay, so you're not really there's it's not so you have it's a lot of people that are sitting there in the call center. There's a supervisor that's listening to the conversation,
Right.
training them on scripts, training them on objection handling, and then I'm assuming they have KPIs on how many they have to convert, to appointments and so forth. So on that in that world, what's your goal in terms of like appointment set, for that person?
Yeah. If I can boil it down really quickly, the goal of that whole process is to get the salesperson to knock on the front door of a homeowner. And
Okay.
so a lot of people like to overqualify their leads. And the goal is if somebody's calling with interest, it's our job of our salesperson that is going to get in the house and establish rapport and do all of that. The goal, it can be boiled down to, can we get a salesperson to knock on the front door of this homeowner? And that is their job. If that happens, the CSR, marketing in general, they have satisfied their job.
Okay. And okay, so you want an appointment, set an appointment, or
Mhm.
technically you want like a show, someone to show up to an appointment.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
you don't want that salesperson knocking doors and no one on the other side, but you want
Yeah.
someone to show up for an appointment. Okay.
Yeah, with
And
and you just got to put systems and processes in place on how
yeah,
you can set a lead, how you confirm the lead. Not too difficult,
yeah.
just those two things, and then you get into the whole list of what I wanted and what you do, and that's a salesperson issue,
Okay.
not a marketing issue.
By the way, that it's simple to set an appointment, but you'd be shocked how many companies leave 20-30% of their leads where the appointments don't get set for all kinds of reasons. Either the call doesn't get picked up, or maybe they have the wrong person picking up that call, and or not asking for the appointment, or
That's right.
like a million reasons why businesses can double their sales just from that SDR role to be managed correctly, and to have the right person in that seat.
No, you brought up a great point because not 24 hours ago, I still have notes from a company I work with, um, where they want more, everyone wants more leads,
Yeah.
more leads, more leads. And what you're talking about is what a lot of people don't think about is what about the leads that we already have
Yep.
in our CRM, and what are we doing with them? And everybody seems to have their own buckets that they put all these leads in. And you just got to have somebody who's just a fierce on the phone.
Yeah.
And don't look at the notes, just call the person. Like none of us reach out to a company when we don't need what they're offering.
Yeah.
Usually, part of your process is frustrating the customer, and they don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, there's a lot in there, and to have somebody on the other end of the phone that knows how to convert these, simple objection handling.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know why, but homeowners just need to be told that it's okay for us to come out and tell you exactly what you need. But to their credit, there's so many companies out there that are not doing it correctly or properly and treating people poorly that sometimes we get lumped in that bucket. So you
Yeah.
got
And
somebody on the inside.
100%. And also similar to what you said earlier, it's like you don't want to overqualify. Sometimes you don't want to over communicate. So you have someone that's on the phone and try to asking lots of questions and price and this and that. And I'm like, that's exactly what we're gonna do when we meet you in person, and that's what so and so is gonna do when they see you in person. So there's a lot of training, a lot of education, a lot of coaching, accountability in that role that can like you said, you can double your sales just by having that role to be strong.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled up a call yesterday and they were asking how we didn't convert it, or the marketing company was talking to the business,
Yeah,
and it was just as simple as, hey, I just give me a price, I'm really busy,
yeah,
I don't have time, which is what everybody says. We
correct.
probably both say that
Yeah,
on a weekly basis.
yeah,
And they said they basically killed the lead and they put it into this category that was, they only want a price.
yeah,
And so I said, so let's have a conversation with them and explain to them
yes,
that there's plenty of companies out there that will give you a price over the phone, and it'll be a low price and you'll like it.
yeah,
And then you'll have them come out. And then let's say they start doing the work, and then they bring you through change order after change order after change order, and it'll probably, that price just keeps going up and up and up.
yeah.
And so
And
just
well, so there's another one. There's also another side of this where we talk about the disc profile sometimes, teaching the sales guys or the SDR how to understand the sales profile. Sometimes there's some high Ds that don't have time. They're on the phone. It's like, tell me how much is it? Take my money. Here's my credit card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
you also have to like recognize those guys and know that you have a sale right there. This person will sell themselves if you just let them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And salespeople don't want to admit that, but sometimes they're just laydowns,
Yeah.
and you just got to not get in the way. And so
Yes.
just setting that person up and telling them, all right, you seem like a busy person.
Yeah.
You probably don't want the 4 hour presentation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is we'll just go through the basics.
Yep.
There are some things that I need to ask you as the professional to show you I know what I'm doing. And
Yes.
so I'll just stick to those and
Yes.
nothing else.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. I used to have this process where on the phone when you ask a couple questions and you recognize the disc, and if it's a high D personality, I immediately, like we train people, immediately say, okay, before we go any further, I just want you to know that my number one mission is going to be not to waste your time.
Yeah.
And we're
Yep.
going to try to do this as efficiently as possible and as quickly as possible and get in and out real quick. And then
Yep.
if it's a high S, it'll be before I go any further, I just want you to know that my number one goal here is to have your back, hold your hand through this process. We're going to take our time. We're going to, I'm going to educate you, and there's no rush, and we're going to go through this process together. And then if it's a high C, you say, before we go anywhere, I just want you to know that my mission is going to be to dot every I, cross every T, do it right, slow down. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's beautiful. I
Yes.
mean, you're just treating people how they want to be treated, and
Yes.
and so we would train salespeople similar, right?
Yeah.
But do you know the difference between the presentations? Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing is different
Yes.
because everything you talk about should be important, and if it's
Correct.
not important, it shouldn't be in your presentation. And so it's just letting them know that, hey, I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
and not wasting their time,
Yep.
but the presentation should not change.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. You just have to like give them a sense that you understand them, that you're conscious of what their concern, of their concerns, and automatically you're going to trim some things. You're not going to delay certain things. You're going to go a little bit faster pace with someone who wants you to go in a
Yeah.
faster pace, and you're going to slow things down with someone who wants you to slow things down. And you just have to adapt to the style of the person. But that starts from that phone call. Like to me, that's like from day one, that training, the calibration, the optimization starts from that first phone call.
Yeah, what you're talking about is like most things in life, but especially home improvement sales, is we're in a people business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
No, and so yes, some of us might do windows and some of us might do roofing,
Yeah.
but it's all people. That's
Right.
it. And so, the worst salespeople are the ones that are like, "Let me tell you about everything about this product," and it's like, I promise you, they don't care. They just want to be treated well, treated fairly.
Yeah.
And when you can shift into a people business and away from being a tradesman,
Yeah.
then it really has a different feel to it.
Yeah. 100%. So now we have an appointment set, and then we have the salesperson. So what does that process look like?
Yeah, I'm going to start from the beginning until you tell me to stop.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
When we come in, we need a culture and we need systems around sales. We have to pretend that sales is its own business. And so how are we recruiting? How many people are we recruiting, and when does sales training start? That needs to be scheduled. Who's going to be doing the training? Do you have a training manager, or is your manager just going to work overtime during your 2 to 4 week training? And then while he's doing training, who's talking to the reps in the field, right? Like these things have to be thought about in that way. As your team starts growing, it's like, what culture are we going to establish here? Is it one call close, which I would highly recommend, or do you have some other rules that you have in place? Right. And then as the team's growing, now we have to revert back to marketing and say, how are these guys going to be fed? If we hired correctly and we trained correctly, then we have a bunch of guys and girls too that need to be fed because they are closers and they know how to talk to people. And so, really, from training, culture, and getting the right amount of people that you need, and growing with marketing, it's going to look like this. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Um, but as long as each department is pushing the other department, then we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So
So let's start with the recruiting piece. So, you need to recruit a sales team. What where are you finding the top talent? What does the top talent look like? And
yeah.
then where are you finding it, and how are you bringing it into your company?
Yeah. So a lot of companies out there, especially with like AI, they try to find the coolest, newest, sexiest thing ever. But I'll tell you that we had a lot of success is finding a local recruiter, a local sales recruiter, even better, and making a partnership with them, telling them what you do, telling them, I mean, if you go to a small town recruiter and you tell them, depending on the size, and we told them, I think we need 6 people every 6 weeks. And so for a small town recruiter, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I think I mean, we put this one recruiter on the map, and he
Wow.
ended up selling his company, that down the road because the enterprise value of his company grew so much, right?
Yeah.
And so find that person in your local market, tell them what you're doing, saying that this is they're not going to believe you when you say I need 6 people every 6 weeks. But as time goes on, if you continue doing that and you're paying them for those people,
Yeah.
uh, he's going to find the best talent and he's going to throw them your way
And so
first.
how do you describe what is the what are you looking for? What is how do you describe what you're looking for to that person?
Yeah. So what's going to happen is because we don't you don't want to get caught in a discrimination type
Sure.
of thing where you're like, I only want this person at this age.
Yeah.
That's not true anyway, because I haven't seen one age group or one gender that doesn't do well.
Correct.
And so you got to get that out of your head, first of
Yeah.
all. But what will happen is as the recruiter starts giving you people and you hire them, like you just got to give that person feedback.
Makes sense.
What we did, I highly suggest that when the recruiter does the interviewing, have him find a question that you like, even if it's why should Richmond Window hire you, or why should this company hire you, or that company hire you? And you can say, and just have them record it that minute long and have them send it to you. And so you can start giving them feedback on that video. Then when you interview the person, if you end up not hiring them, give them feedback. When you do hire them and they don't work out, give them feedback. And then if you hire somebody and they do work out, give him feedback. Continue giving that person feedback so they can adjust. And then so at some point, the recruiter will stop sending you people that he that they know won't work for you.
Yeah.
And so it's just about establishing a relationship with that.
How long
Hope,
did it take you? Does it usually take you with in your experience with recruiters like that? How long does it take before it clicks for them?
before we got really dialed in, probably over a year.
A year. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to go full cycle with people and identify what works and what doesn't, and even
Yeah.
for yourself.
And they want to, because they are professionals in their industry too. So they want to
Yeah,
know, are my clients being treated well over there? And
makes sense.
so as time goes on and as they know that they're actually serving people, then again, it just gets sweeter and sweeter as this thing
Yeah,
continues.
and they kind of enroll in your mission, and they believe, when they see results, 6 months down the line, and they hear some of the people they placed there are doing really well and they're happy.
Yep,
They believe in the mission, they believe in the brand, and they're become advocates for you.
that's right. And it doesn't take long, but it takes effort. And
Yeah.
so
So in the Windows space at the time, what was was there a disk profile that worked best for you guys? Was there was there an industry that these people came from
hmm.
that worked better? What were some of those soft kind of things that you recognized?
Yeah. So the easy one is on a disk. If it's not a high D, there's zero chance
Okay.
it's gonna work out. I like high D, high I.
Yeah.
That works great. And then most of my managers were high D, high C, and that the high dominant, it has to be there
Yeah.
uh,
Why?
for
Why is
this
that?
position.
Yeah, but why? What's about the D's that makes them effective in sales?
Yeah, I mean, usually we have to know how to control a situation and control a conversation, because there's going to be people that they just don't care. You walk in their house and they'll be like, "It's over there. Give me a price."
Yeah.
They're going to try to really smack you around a little bit.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to hold your own. But also there's their goal setting of sales and trying to achieve goals and trying to get better and role playing and all these things. And I need somebody that's going to take criticism and say, hey, when you just said that, like, because we'll get into the very specific wording at role playing. I said, you said this. I need you saying this.
Yeah.
And I want someone to think, okay, I'm going to try that and see how it works. I don't want somebody to say, he doesn't like me. He's always picking on me. Right. It's
Yes.
just, it's the personality that's needed.
Yeah, the D's are again drivers, so they can drive the process. They can lead people to an outcome, and also they don't. Part of that, what makes them that way is that they don't care. They don't have as much need to be liked,
Yeah.
and they don't have that high need. So they don't take things personally, and as long as you can get to the goal, that's what matters. They understand you know what
Yeah.
reality looks like.
Now, the point is to all this is take the time and have them take an assessment of some sort.
Yeah,
Too much out there nowadays to overlook this part.
yeah,
If you're, because I know homeowners, especially, or I know business owners, especially when the business is small, they're like, I just need somebody
yeah,
that can come in and do this.
yeah.
I understand the desire to hire quickly, but take the minute if you can do it. Do that. Make them take this test. Hire correctly, because it'll serve you
And
in the long.
and honestly, that's a really good point right there. You said we don't talk about it enough. In a small business that hire quick or hire anybody just to kind of build, just to get started, just to keep going, it actually becomes a big problem down the line because you want to seed your company with really, really the highest quality people you can get, in your area, and
Right.
because they become the foundation of attracting other people that are also high quality, but also retaining high quality people. And if you don't have quality in your company already, when you get someone of quality, more likely they're going to bounce. You're not going
Yeah.
to be able to retain them that long because they're going to see what you have, and then they don't want to be around people that are not as good as them. They want to be around top talent wants to be better talent, wants to be around better talent than them. They
Yeah.
want to be
Sure.
challenged because they know that's how they're going to grow. That's how they're going to achieve their goals.
That's right. And it's we during our first conversation, we talked a lot about first thing is do no harm.
Yeah.
And if you hire incorrectly on the sales side, they will poison every one of your salespeople.
Yes.
And through the years, I mean, I can attribute maybe 25% of our attrition to one or two people.
Yeah.
And I can think back about somebody and how one person in my head is poisoned so many other really good salespeople. And so you got to hire correct.
Yeah, and again, mistakes are always made. I always say the best scouts in the NFL or NBA that do this for a living their whole life and maybe through
Yeah.
multiple generations, they all can tell you if they pick a quarterback, it's a 50-50. So even at that level where this is all they do, with big teams with lots of data, they know how many inches this finger is, and they know how many
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
arm's length, and they know it doesn't matter. It's always a 50-50. They don't know who's gonna click with the team. They know who's gonna have the heart. They don't know who's gonna click with the coach. It just they don't know. And so when you make that decision, just be ready to correct it if you have to correct it as quickly as possible.
That's right. I mean, 50-50, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And you just tell people, I would end my interviews, usually I know I have a good salesperson when they go, all right, what's the next step? What are we doing
Yeah.
at the end of an interview?
Yes.
Say, well, it's easy with me. I just need to I asked myself one question today. Would I feel comfortable buying something from you?
Yeah.
And so you're a yes. So
Yeah.
here's the next step. I don't know if you're going to do well in my company or not.
Mm.
It's primarily up to you.
Yeah.
What I think you deserve is a shot to prove to me if I'm right or if I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And put it all on them. Hey, if you do well here, I'm going to take no credit. And if you flop here,
It's
I'm
all
taking
it's
no
all on
credit.
me. Yeah.
I'm taking no
I'm
credit.
taking all the
Either way.
blame.
That's right. So if you do well, I'm going to congratulate you up. It wasn't
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's true. Well, that's a coach. That's what a coach do. And I mean, if a team wins, it's all to them. If the team loses, it's all me. I didn't prepare them well, or I didn't put the right plan in place for them to win. So your process was find a recruiter. I always say find three. Get as much, as many people in front of you as possible. Now you do that. You do like a 2-minute video. You review that 2-minute video. Then off those videos, you pick the ones you want to interview. Does a recruiter interview himself or just you?
Yeah, the recruiter does the first interview.
Okay, in person or on the phone?
He does Zoom.
Zoom. Okay.
And then they'll record the last minute of the interview for
Okay.
that question to send to me.
Oh, makes sense. Okay, got it. Okay.
So I'll review that and I'll see who I want to bring in so I can see them face to face.
And the question you ask is, why should we hire you? Is that what the question is?
You can definitely do that one unless your company has a more specific one. But I
Okay.
just want the recruiter to ask that person, and it'll say, "Hey, we're now recording. This is going to be sent to the employer. Why should they hire you?"
Okay, got it.
We'll record that, and that's what gets sent to me.
Okay, got it. And then from those, you pick the ones that you want to interview. What is the typical conversion? How many of those videos you get for you to say yes to a person?
Oh, okay. I will probably bring 50% of them in for interviews.
Okay, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
If they're just, because I want to make sure in person, like there's sometimes it's a weird question to get put on the spot.
makes sense.
So I'm like, I'm gonna bring them in. And then even if I'm on the fence, like you said earlier, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know who's gonna do well and who's not.
Correct.
And I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, if you do well here, I won't take any credit. If you don't, I won't take any credit. You deserve a shot
Yeah.
to show me what you can do.
Yeah.
Based on your resume and how you present yourself, you deserve a shot. So I'm going to give you a shot.
It's funny. I interviewed so many salespeople in my life. I've never was able to know who exactly is going to be a good salesperson. But I've always been really good at identifying a really good sales manager.
Mm.
So I have no idea. Like I remember like twice where I told one person, you're going to replace me in a year.
Mm.
And she did. And then another person I said, you're going to be an incredible sales manager and people are going to love you. And that guy had a decision between working for me or working for the Catholic Church.
Mm.
He wanted to be a priest. And then he ended up working for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I always tell that story. It's like, I was competing with God and I won.
Yeah, and you won, and that's why I don't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah, but he ended up great. He was a really good dude, very contribution oriented. He's one of those guys that started slow, but then once he started getting customers, his client were giving him so many referrals. He was just like, he had an amazing database very quickly. And then without him being a sales manager, when he was in that first year or two being a salesperson, you could tell other new people were drawn to him to ask him for questions and ask him for advice. And he was open, to teaching. So he was like natural. I knew it, but that's what ended up happening. And it was funny because I ended up hiring that person. Became like the trainer, the
Yeah.
trainer sales manager. And then the girl that I was telling you earlier, she ended up being the closer on the recruiting and the accountability person. She was
Okay.
also a great trainer, but she was better at like very holding people accountable. She was a no nonsense person. They couldn't mess, you couldn't BS her. You know what I mean? And she
Yeah.
will, if she wants you to come in, you will come. She'll close you. And then later on, she will hold you accountable. You're not gonna want to disappoint her.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the more nurturing. So they're kind of like mom and dad, but they were opposite. You know what I mean? The girl was the
Yeah.
dad, and I found that that was like the perfect combination. I never found one person to have both kind of dynamics where being the nurturing, it's rare,
Mhm.
being that having that emotional flexibility to be the nurturing, to be the mom and dad at the same time. You could stretch yourself and do that, but it's very hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And what we're talking about, like I love EOS.
Yeah,
I'm not an implementer, but I know quite a bit and I
yeah,
use it a lot. And I did implement EOS at my last in my last position. And what you're talking about is the right person in the right seat.
yeah,
And then, actually putting some time and thought into what this position needs and what does the person bring to the table. And if you follow, it's not an EOS episode, but if you follow the process, you'll be able to determine is this the right seat and who deserves to be sitting in it. And that's what you were talking about right there. So you
yeah.
were able to distinguish with all of that.
So now the recruiter got them. They interviewed them. They recorded the 2 minutes. They sent them to you. Half of them showed up into the interview. You interviewed them. You feel good about them. Now the next thing is so these people are so first of all these people are commission only, correct?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
then what is their commission rate usually between what and what?
Yeah. You should be between 8 and 10%.
8 and 10%. Okay. And then is there like, after a certain volume, you get this much? Is there like kind of structure to incentivize something?
For sure. I think that you don't have to start there for the young companies, but as you're growing, salespeople, we like to be incentivized. We like to be acknowledged. And so, if you can get to a point where you can put some incentives out there for a trip or a reward of some sort, don't be cheap about it, right? If you have
Yeah.
somebody bring in $2 million into your business, give them a $6,000 uh, sandals vacation. You're right.
Okay. Nice.
Um, when we started doing that, I mean, it's a big deal.
It's
And
huge.
yeah, a little ninja trick too is when they're 25% of the way there, you send the spouse a beach hat. And then when they're 50% of the way there, you send them a beach bag.
Nice.
Three quarters, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to bring the spouse into it because there's them working at your company, but then there's them going home, and you need a support system at home. So if
That's a
you're
great
doing,
strategy. That's a great strategy. I never heard that one before. So I love that because you're enrolling the spouse in the accountability and the encouragement of your salesperson.
yeah, that's the number one way to encourage somebody is go to their support system. And so if you're doing a company trip, or if you're doing like
Oh,
a
so
Christmas
how
party,
about this? Now you gave me a great idea. This is a great idea. My next sales team, what I'm gonna do on the beginning of the year, we're gonna announce. We always do a party, Christmas party or New Year's party, whatever. We're gonna
yep,
announce our vision for the year, and then we're gonna announce those prices. And
hmm,
obviously the party is gonna have the spouses in it.
yep,
And then we're gonna tell everybody that the first prize Cadillac, first prize sandals vacation, whatever, and you show the video, and then you literally just send you said 25% send the hat, 50% send the bag. What's the next 25 when the 75%? What do you send?
yeah, I can't remember what we picked. We might have picked like an expensive pair of sunglasses or something.
Okay, I like it. Okay,
Yeah,
and then wow, I love that. I love that because that kind of really seeds, and then you get them enrolled into Also getting a break, if the husband or wife, is busy or is, not showing up for something or late for something, that they will understand that, they're working
Mhm.
toward this, incredible vacation. So I like it.
Yeah, that's an interesting trick. And we would put it out January 1st. It's like because we ideally we'd want more people to go together. So I would say, all right, this year it's going to be this Jamaica location.
Yeah.
To qualify, you need 2.5 million in sales. And maybe you might throw a couple other things, maybe like a customer survey score or something like that. And then so then that way you have a couple of people that qualify, they all can go together and have fun.
Nice. Yeah.
And then if you want to put a level above that, if you hit X amount, then you get a cash bonus or something like that.
Nice. I
You can
love
give them a
that.
better room, or who knows, something like
Yeah.
that. Those
Okay.
little things
Yeah.
are like the ROI on little things like that is probably the best ROI that the company is going to earn.
And it's even more powerful than giving the $6,000 cash.
Yes, give things, not cash, whenever you can,
Yeah. Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
even more powerful. Yeah, I totally understand. And I totally agree with that. So and I tell you, like from experience, designing the right incentive plan is so
Mm.
hard, and so it takes so much time, and you make mistakes. So
Yeah.
what it's um, and I always recommend to keep it simple. You don't want too many complexity in the incentive program because then people just don't trust it anymore.
Agreed.
And so the cleaner, the better, and the more aspirational, like you're doing with the travel and all these other perks, the better.
Yeah, I mean, salespeople know when you're putting a comp plan that is unreachable
Yeah,
and just completely absurd, right? So find where you're happy with. It's
yeah,
like, all right, if someone brings me $2.5 million, this is my net. Like, figure out the numbers. Say, okay, I'm going to give them a $6,000 vacation to hit that. Um, and then we would change it every year, right?
yeah,
Like first time I got there, I think we had the top person was doing 1.5 million, and it was only one person.
yeah.
So okay, maybe the goal at that point is 1.5. By the time we were done, I think we had three people pacing 4 million.
Nice.
And so nothing wrong with that. Change the comp plan, change the goals. We're all trying to get better, so we're setting bigger goals. That's how we do this.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it's an iterative process. You keep improving. You never stop. You keep listening to the conversation and how is it impacting your culture? How does those incentive plans impacting the vibe and the energy in your team? If they're excited, if they're pumped, if they're talking about it in a positive way, that's a great incentive program. If everybody's pissed and bitching and moaning about it, then that's not. That's because that's not what you want.
That's right.
That's not the process. All right, so you have the right profile, you have the right incentive plan. Now the training. So tell me about that. What happened? You mentioned 6 weeks, and you mentioned six people every 6 weeks. So why six, and why six people, and why 6 weeks of training?
Yeah, good question. So find out where your capacity is with your trainer. And so we noticed that above 6, it was harder to manage. So that's where we got 6. We just find the capacity of your team. And then every 6 weeks, because our training at the end was about 5 weeks and then you get a week of time in between classes.
Okay.
That's all. It's
Okay.
just,
And then what does that 6 week look like?
yeah. So, well, that 6 week, the week leading up to the training, it's just the trainer getting everything ready. I mean, that's like an onboarding week. There's a lot of things to prepare for that, but from a 5 week training period,
So hold
uh,
on. So you hired someone. That person does not show up week one.
so yeah, they'll show up. So I was starting, like, we have a pre-week, like we call it week 0,
Okay.
which is just making sure that the samples are waiting for them. Um,
So if you
and
hire someone, so if you say, okay, today was the last day of hiring, you hired your sixth person today. Today's Friday. So you're not gonna have that, let's say me, I'm the salesperson. You're not gonna have me come on Monday. You're gonna have me come the Monday after.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll do a start date. Whenever that start date is, have everybody show up.
Okay.
But I need my trainer to prepare them. I need their sales samples ready. I want on any sort of employment stuff done because we're day one, we're hitting the ground running. So we have all the paperwork on that first.
So week 0 is prep. Week 1 is
Yep.
what?
Yep. So I'm going right into set the selling system scripts.
Okay.
There's going to be a part that during week 0, I'm going to tell them, I need you to come day 1 with this already known and get a paragraph of the sales script. You say, I need you to know this before you show up.
Okay.
And they go, okay. I'll say, do you have any worry about showing up day 1 without having this done? Nope. I don't have any worry either. Okay. So I don't either. And if they don't show up day 1 knowing it, they go home at lunchtime.
Nice. Okay. So that's a filter of like, whether you're committed to doing this or not, or you committed to learning and growing or not, whether you really want this job or not. Yeah, that's good. How many people usually get filtered out?
Very few on that first day.
Okay.
But it does happen.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, all right. So one every like 3 cohorts or one every like 5 cohorts?
Yeah, I would say maybe one every 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
And it's great. It's a great example if you can, tell the other guys that we just sent so and so home because he didn't do it. Right. They appreciate it because they did the work.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't done, for nothing. And then now anytime you say something afterward, they're gonna take it as serious. You know what I mean? So you're serious about what you're asking for with the standard that you're setting, and then they're serious about what they do. And I love, and I mean, I've done it so many times. Like someone shows up with the wrong outfit or the wrong attitude or the wrong, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Just go home.
You have to have a standard.
Yes.
Yeah. This is kind of off topic, but the standard has to be set with ownership and it's got to go down. And you have to be honest with yourself that when a standard is not hit, that an adjustment has to be made.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, the best part for people who are in the M&A space and looking to buy a business is they are looking for people who have been lax on their standards.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
And because that's where the value add is.
Yes.
And so if you know that other people are looking for that to buy your business, just fix it in your own business. And it's hard because a lot of these.
But that's what Warren Buffett talks about is, buying companies that have complacency in them and then inject restlessness.
Yeah, I like that.
That's it. That's where you create value. You just inject restlessness.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And and you talked about the tone from the top. It's very interesting. I was having a conversation today with someone about this exact same thing. And then you walk into a high-end restaurant, really nice. It doesn't have to be high-end. It's just a restaurant. And you walk in and that hostess is so hospitable and so warm and pays attention to you and, gets you taken care of no matter what, whether it's a wait or not. She communicates with you. She's very nice, hospitable, feel welcomed in the place. And then you walk and then you're like surprised that this person is really nice. And then you sit at the table and the waiter is also comes to you quick, brings the stuff. The bread is warm. The butter is the right temperature. It's not hard. The wine comes quickly. That stuff is by design. That stuff doesn't just happen on its own. Someone at the top has a standard that they set, and then they made sure to hire the right person at the hostess level, at the waiter level, at the kitchen level. They had made sure the communication between the front and back is tight. They made sure that to take all the obstacles away from the waiter to be the best waiter ever. Like they made it. What do you call it? Like a 0 1 call one. What do you call that? What is your system called? zero
The week zero.
weeks. No, like a one call
Oh, one
meeting,
call close. Yeah,
one
yeah.
call close. They made
Yep.
the whole business like, the one call, like where you
Right.
just do it once. We don't want the client to be looking for us. We don't want the client to feel confused about what happens next. Things are just flowing.
Right.
And that happens, it doesn't happen on its own in nature. Someone at the top has designed that vision and had aligned the whole company from recruiting to training to management to accountability to align with that experience.
That's right. Yeah. It Somebody took the time to work on their business,
Yes.
and as opposed to the owner who's working in their business
Yes.
and running from job to job to thing to it. Like it's just so you get so much anxiety just working in a company like that.
Yes.
If somebody has some really good leadership and time management skills where they can set a time aside to work on their business and think about these things,
Yeah.
oh man, it makes a huge difference, like we're talking about.
Yeah, we call those. I used to, it's a call them. There are field points in the process. If you take your map of the whole process end to end, how the customer, how the interaction with the customer, and how the fulfillment happens, and how the sales process happen. There are these dots where we call them field points, and
Yep.
those are the ones that you focus on the most. You want every one of those to be additive, to be a plus. You're scoring more points with the client. So in case something happened at the end, you have plenty of reserves to draw from.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I mean?
You have enough in the bank that you can
Yes.
take. You got some withdrawal money.
Yeah. Because something happens. You can't control everything. Things are gonna happen. But if you build it up to a point, then the client is fine. I mean, they understand, they have trust, they like you, they appreciate you because they know it's rare. It's rare to have that experience in nature. You know what I mean? It's a unicorn.
Yeah, it is.
It's incredible. So now you hire people. You've training them. You said week one we talk about scripts. We set a high standard of accountability from day one. Person has to come knowing a certain part of the script. Then that week, the first week is just all scripts.
Yeah.
Now what's week two?
So week two, we still have some sales scripts there, but that's the transition week from the selling script to product knowledge and actually know what you're selling. I prioritize the selling script over product knowledge. Product knowledge, you'll learn it. We can teach anybody that part, but I want to weed people out in that first week who struggle with having a conversation.
Yeah,
If you do, then I don't need to waste my time teaching you the product.
correct.
So that's why we put it in that order.
Makes sense. Week three?
Yep. And so week 3 and 4, it's going to be how much catching up on the selling script do I have to do? How much catching up on the product knowledge do I have to do? And also, I'm going to get them in the field. I'm going to try to get them some ride-alongs for the sales side, and I'm going to try to get some ride-along, like install visits, where they can
Okay.
actually see it getting installed.
So the first two parts, the first 2 weeks, they're in a class or as a group. They're being taught as a group.
That's right.
And then after that, in that 3 and 4, they're being taught individually with their, individually with their. Do they have like a sales mentor or or is the sales manager that's taking them out, or how does it work?
Yeah, at our size, we did have some team leaders in the field that were able to help them. And so I got to the point where I would only have them do ride-alongs with the best people I had.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. And this is where, for the companies that are smaller, if you don't have that,
Yeah.
you got to hire correctly, because
Yes.
if you start sending people on a ride-along with someone who's not following the rules, your
Yeah.
whole department is being poisoned.
It's a mess.
Yeah. And so we did have people that we trusted, and they would go with a team leader. Maybe I would always say for myself, it takes about 6 months for you to be in a sales appointment and not be worried about any question that they're going to ask you.
Makes
You have the
sense.
answers to everything.
How many appointments do these salespeople get a week, into typically on average?
Everyone's different. It's all merit based.
Okay.
It will always be merit based with me.
Sure.
So, ideally speaking, I mean, we would get people to 20 to 30 appointments a month.
A
And
month when they start?
when they're probably 15 to 20 when they start.
Okay.
But what we do is we start them with 10 appointments. I'm going to watch you for these 10 appointments. After every appointment, we're going to talk about it. And that is tedious work.
Yeah.
But the reason why I know that is because somebody was willing to pour into me when I was a salesperson
Yeah.
and pour into me to the tune of 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
While we're in the car, I'm driving to my appointment, he's driving his appointment, we're talking
Yeah.
every day. And I would say, hey, Kevin, I have an appointment in this city with, it looks like a single lady. There's only one name on there. She's getting this work done. What do you think?
Yeah.
And so he would tell me how to work that. And
Yeah.
then I'd call him the next time. Hey, I got a commercial lead. What the heck do I do here?
Yeah.
This is how you do it. And I had notes on every single type of lead at one point.
Nice. Nice.
That takes a long time. Leadership is important in a company like this. And so I'm talking, you need to be talking to your people constantly, especially early on.
100%. And I couldn't agree more in terms of the training piece. And that's where having the right people up front is so important. And having that culture of education and training is so important. But when you think about it, like I was just telling someone, telling my kids actually yesterday, it just, when if you watch Formula One, the first thing the drivers do after the race is that they actually go into a room with everybody, all the technicians, all the engineers, and they watch the race.
Yeah.
And then both drivers, one on one side and on the other, they essentially break down what was happening in their mind, what were they seeing when they were in that corner or in that part of the race.
Yeah.
And then they record all this stuff because they want to fix those issues, tire issues, pressure issues, whatever it is. They want to fix them on the next race and next year when they come back to that same race. So imagine if you could do that mindset with every salesperson, on every call, how much better company and how much better organization you would be, learning from the winning and the losing, not necessarily just the transaction that didn't work out.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And I'm sitting here smiling because I love thinking about how professionals act.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, there's sales guys out there that think that that's above what they need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They've got
it. Dude, I'm good.
But listen, it's talk about NFL. I think with people, if sport is much with salespeople, sport is very good analogy. Yeah. And just like, listen, you could be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or whatever. You're gonna sit and watch film.
Yep.
And you're gonna watch film with your position coach, and then you're going to watch film with the coach, the team coach.
Yep.
And they're gonna give you a hard time, and they're gonna ask you questions, and they're gonna tell you what you were thinking when you saw this, what were you thinking when you saw that, and when you did this, what were you thinking, and then that's how you improve.
Yep. And you know what? Whoever's leading the team, the company, you also have to have a growth mindset.
Yes.
Because you have to show them that you're willing to do it. Yeah. I remember early on when I came into a team, none of them think you can do it. So you got to show them.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I've been teaching you how to do it all week. This is what I'm going to do. You're going to watch me. You're going to come with me on an appointment.
Yes.
And I want you to coach me afterwards.
Yes.
And then after you hear that feedback, you were like, man, I missed that. You're right.
Yeah.
Just show them your humility.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get this perfect, nor am I perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help us look at this from a different angle. I just believe that we could have helped. Like at the end of the day, at the end of our closing, or at the end of our training week, we have a week of closing and objection handling. The reason why we did that is my strongest suit, is because early on in my career, I missed a sale. Another company came in to help them and totally bombed the job. And when I came back out, the guy was sitting in his couch. He had oxygen. He just had a heart attack. They had
Wow.
money, and
Wow.
the two bathrooms that they did were not working.
Wow.
And so when I left his house, I from that day forward, I knew if I was better at my job and explaining to him what I did, I could have helped him avoid that.
Yeah.
But I was new and I wasn't good enough. And because I wasn't good enough, he went to somebody else.
Yeah. I
He ran
failed
into
him.
a salesperson who sold them something else.
Yeah.
And so we do a week of closing, and what we talk about is that do you believe in this product and how we do it? You guys have seen the product, you've learned the product, you know our company. I please do not go out in the world if you don't believe that we're doing it the best out there.
Yeah.
And if you do find someone that can do it better, go work for them.
Yes.
And as the owner of the company, you should really strive to do it the best way possible, because over time, that's going to compound. Your salespeople are going to build it up, the customers are going to build it up, and you're going to have a really good asset at the end of your career. Um, but it,
100%, 100%. And also aligning the fact that, listen, if you miss a sale, that's a small revenue for you, but think about like how many missed sales that can generate revenue for the company, where we can generate more leads
right,
for you, much higher quality leads for you, or we can hire more people where we can do more jobs. I used to always align, the team. So if someone on my team gets big jobs, it doesn't take away from me. It actually adds to me, because if those people, use us and we do a good job, they rave about us, they're going to send us referrals, or they're going to talk to other people. So next time you go on your appointment, that person's going to say, yeah, my neighbor that did the same thing. And then, you're probably not the one sold the neighbor, but you're benefiting from someone else on the team selling the neighbor.
that's right.
And so the more sales we do, the more sales we do. So we support each other, we help each other. It's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. And you get sometimes some salespeople that are very individualistic, or sometimes they're a little bit more competitive. And you have to kind of bring them back into this, yes, it's both. It's an individual performance and a team performance. They both help each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a space for all of those individuals on a team.
Yeah.
You have the guys at the top that are fighting to be number one.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people in the middle that just
Yeah.
want work-life balance and
Yeah.
want to be left alone.
Yeah.
But they all can do well, right?
Absolutely. 100%. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And early on in my career, I only liked the competitive people.
Yeah.
And my growth was realizing that there's nothing wrong with all the people that like work-life balance and don't marry their jobs.
100%. 100%. And then when you look at any company, if you look at the distribution of sales, you're going to find maybe the top 20% is done by the top two guys, but then 80% of it is done by the guys in the middle.
That's right.
And that's what those are the consistent people. And those actually, from a business perspective, those are more valuable, because they don't create a concentration of risk in your business. If you have one salesperson doing 50% of your revenue, and that person leaves or something happens to them, then you're like screwed.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? You want those guys to lead, to create a pace, like a fast pace for the team, but you really want everybody else under them to be performing.
Yeah, 100%. And you're always improving culture. I'll botch this story, but somebody asked me once, what baseball team had the most wins in a year? And I grew up a fan, but I was like, I don't know. And they said the Seattle Mariners. And I said, okay. And he goes, the year before, they lost 3 people. And I said, okay. And they were like, I think it was Randy Johnson, it was Alex Rodriguez, and of course, I can't think of that third one. I'll do it at some point. The point of the story is the 3 best players left. The next year was the record-breaking year. And so when I started here, I told that story because I fired 2 salespeople in the same month that attributed 50% of last year's sales.
Wow.
The next month was the best month ever because the respect, well, one, everyone knew that they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And so they were bringing everybody down. And just by getting rid of them and clearing the mental space of everybody and the respect that I earned by
Yeah.
seeing the problem and getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So culture, even with everything we said,
Yeah.
culture really is important
Yeah.
and can drive sales in itself. And somebody has to keep their thumb on the sales department. And it's usually almost always should not be the owner of the company, right? It
Yeah.
has to be its own individual person that has a dedicated career to the
Yeah.
health of the sales team. And so, yeah, that's my little soapbox there. But I thought
Yeah,
that was
no,
a
I
great
agree.
story of
Offensive
how,
coach. No,
yeah,
100%. I totally 100% agree with you. It's so critical, and you're talking. So that takes us to the next step, which is, we recruited, we trained. Now accountability. So accountability is the sales accountability and continuous improvement and retention. So let's talk about that.
yeah. And so I'll tell you, let's see if I have it right here. There was a time basically I sat down and I wanted to work on my department, and I sat down with the leaders of my team, and there were 17 things that we focused on as a team, and we needed to make sure that somebody's job was to take care of these 17 things. And some of the things that you were just asking about is talent retention and rewards and recognition, team motivation, performance measurement, performance management. And so we had a list of all these things, and we had to put a name with this seat.
Mm.
So somebody might have been in charge of multiple things, but I had this list of 17 things that I needed to be covered to ensure that people stayed with us. They kept improving and growing. And a lot of that is going to be held in the measuring performance and then recognizing and rewarding performance. Um, and those are the sales dinners. Those are the posters you put on the wall for a monthly sales achievement or whatever. Those little things that people laugh at,
Yeah.
like some people, like when we go in, like what makes good salespeople, what drives people, it usually comes from like a negative place as like a kid or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
no one
Yeah.
gave me attention, so I gotta
Yeah.
overachieve, right? So these people just want recognition and a
Yeah.
pat on the back and
Yes.
to feel important. And so we do that by putting stuff on the wall, sending stuff home, putting them on trips. That's how you keep a team happy.
Yeah, significance. I'll prove you wrong. I'll show you
Yeah.
that I'm worth it. Something happens to them as kids. I don't know. Some kids are just born that way, but yeah, something happened where they grow with that chip on their shoulder, and they want to prove people that they're better than they're the best, or they're better than everybody, or yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. You have to put a lot of attention in it. I mean, these guys, they're 100% commission.
Yeah,
That's generally pretty hard.
yeah,
Their weekly sales goes to zero at the end of the week.
yeah.
Their monthly sales goes to zero at the end of the month. Their yearly sales goes to zero. So it's like they're constantly starting over.
Yeah.
It's just you got to support them every way you can to keep them going and motivated.
Yeah. So your sales manager, what is the profile of that sales manager? What are you looking for in a really high quality sales manager?
If you only have one, like, so when I first started,
Yeah.
I was the sales manager, so I had to find somebody that complemented me. And so it was finding someone with the opposite disc of mine. My attention to detail was low. I needed to find someone with attention to detail that was high.
Yeah.
So I I have found really good success with a high D, high C in my managers.
Okay.
Um, if just managers, uh, there's a level to it where you want to complement managers sometimes with other people.
Yeah.
Um, that's important. Um,
The problem with that high DC, it's not very inspirational. That person is not necessarily like a very vision they have a vision, but they're not like expressive in a way.
Yeah,
So that's what I think you being a DI and then the person being a DC kind of complement each other. But you need that DI, unless the owner is involved and they set the vision and the aspiration, and then the DC person is the one that stays on top of them.
it's funny, like what we're talking about, like this is a strategic level on a business, and this is the
Yeah,
part that is really important that gets missed
yeah,
by someone who is a tradesperson, right?
yeah,
And so I have a very low I. I'm introverted by nature.
yeah,
Uh, if I have to talk to somebody for an extended period of time, I need some equal amount of solo time to recover.
yeah.
And so I made sure that I was surrounded by people whose I was off the chart,
Okay,
and they made up for everything. I mean, literally, the closest people around me had very high eyes.
nice.
I needed that part for me, because I needed them to like they needed to be the personality behind my strategy behind the scenes. And so I guess the answer is never go hire this personality. The answer always requires more questions.
Yeah,
Who's there currently? What's missing? What are we trying to build? And the question, really the answer lies in be strategic about what you're doing. Just have some thought into what you're doing. And that usually is where you can solve some good problems and avoid some good problems, just by doing that and not just going, we all know the owner that's just like,
yeah,
go, 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 go. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Well, like
that's where
shoot,
problems
shoot,
come.
shoot, aim. Shoot, aim, ready, or ready, shoot, aim. Yeah, and I mean it is, and I don't even have a problem with the ready, shoot, aim, unless you're reviewing things very quickly and making you're iterating quickly, because taking action is part of like almost like part of the learning process. And then you go out, you hire somebody, you could tell very quickly the first day, first week, it's not working. You gotta make the change, have another person, and then iterate, learn what didn't work with the first person, and then how do we adjust with the next person.
Yeah. Yep.
And you just have to enroll everybody in the process. So you're looking, sales manager role, is that also the trainer, or is the trainer is separate?
Most likely, and when the company's smaller, it's
Yeah.
going to be both.
Yeah, but when
But if
it's a little bit larger, do you have two separate roles, a trainer and a sales manager?
Yeah, so when we were at the 50 million range, we had a trainer, three sales managers, and and a bunch of like in the field team leaders.
Okay, and then the sales managers, they kept a 6 people limit, or it was more
No, it was more. So we had three sales managers. They had about 10 people each.
each.
Yeah,
10 is a good number. Yeah, I never want to go beyond that, or 12 max.
yeah.
But that's usually the ideal number. And so you have the trainer, one trainer, two sales. Okay. And in terms of like like for you in that at that time, what was the conversion rate on the salespeople? What were you looking for?
Yeah, that was a good question. So to our point before, a lot of comp plans are done incorrectly. So over the years, we were focusing on the wrong things. Um, the number I think we should be focusing on is we call it the RPA, which is your revenue per appointment. Um, a lot of people have different terms, but it's essentially for every appointment that you run, what's the revenue? So take total revenue divided by the amount of appointments that you ran. That's the most important to us. I think that aligns everybody in the company, because marketing has a marketing cost, and then we have the revenue per appointment. And so it's really easy for an owner to look down. It's like, oh, some people are like, my lead cost is $400. I'm going bankrupt. And it's like, well, that's half the story. What are you earning for every appointment? Like,
Yeah,
I'd pay 2,000 for every appointment if I was earning 20,000 per,
20,000. Yeah,
right? So expensive is, subjective, and And so,
Yeah, it's relative to what? What is the revenue per client, lifetime value, and so forth. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. And so you how do you align that number with the RPA with the comp plan?
yep. So we'll do a couple things. We didn't start here, but we ended with the higher your RPA, the higher your commission percentage.
Mm,
And so it's different for every company, but find a baseline. Most companies are between 8 and 10, so call it 9%. This is the baseline. This is the RPA that I want. And then as they go down, you you make that difference up by paying them less.
mm.
And if it goes up, you share in the upside. Um, and so that's how we align that number. So we're always watching for RPA.
So how do they control the RPA? Is it with conversion, or
Yeah.
because they don't control the price, and they don't control, they don't control the margin.
Yeah. The two things that make the RPA are your closing percentage and your average sale.
Okay, and how do they affect the average sale?
By selling more when you're in the house. Now, every like windows, for example, you
Yeah,
give somebody a house full of windows and doors, and let's say the salesperson's afraid of the price. They've never made they've never made a purchase that big. They don't
yeah,
feel confident in it.
yeah,
Maybe they'll say stupid things in the appointment like, "Let's just start with the front
yeah,
part of the house,
yeah,
and then we'll do the rest later."
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that person's RPA is going way down because their average sale is going way down.
Makes sense.
Versus the guy who sold every single window in the house, and then at the end of the appointment says, "Hey, did you know for $42 a month we could do that big huge patio door? Like $42 a month. Should we add that? I know
Yeah,
you thought it." And so that's a guy who's going to do everything he can to improve that average sale. Um, and at the end of the day, when a homeowner comes home and every single one of their windows is beautiful and they go to the back deck, that's going to piss them off now.
yeah,
Like, I want that done too,
yeah.
right?
I
And
should have
so,
done that. Yeah, I should
yeah,
have done that.
you know how many people complain that when they call us back to do more work, the price is more? That
Mm,
pisses people off beyond belief because
mm.
every year home improvements 4 to 7%. If you were doing this during COVID, you realized shit was jumping like 20% every
Yeah.
year. And so for people calling back and they're like, what the heck? Like, why didn't my salesperson just tell me that when he was here?
Why didn't he sell me? Yeah,
You'd
exactly.
be shocked at how often we hear that.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
So it's not trying to get one over on the homeowner. It's
Yeah,
literally doing what's best for them and their house.
yeah, 100%. Well, on that note, so tell us a little bit about what you do and how you help companies improve their sales outcomes.
Yeah, so I predominantly work with owners now who are tradespeople, and I love that because the attention to detail and some of the work that they do is great, but it usually means that they're not skilled in the sales background, and so I can come in and train the managers they have if they have them on already, or I can help find a manager for them, train that manager and teach them about some of the things that we talked about in this call. How do you have conversations with people after appointments when they don't sell? How do you keep them motivated? How do you find out what motivates them? And then the recruiting, the training, the ongoing training, so they can start building up that sales team. And then, of course, always have an eye on marketing and how we can feed them.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now is just doing that. And it's really cool that I have the experience of not only going from 10 to 50 million, but I brush shoulders with people that have businesses over 200 million as I traveled for renewal and talked to these owners.
well, listen, every organization, I've never met an organization that didn't need more optimization in their sales team. Like I haven't found a single, I haven't seen it. And I mean, I haven't seen a company that has an incredible sales process that I was like, wow, this is amazing. So there's a lot of need out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and especially with sales consulting, why it's so easy is, you hire a consultant who influences one sale that week,
Yeah.
ROI is back in your
Yeah.
pocket. So,
Yeah.
so it really makes sense for most companies to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, Steve.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. Let's
All
do it
right.
again.